Hello, my dear ones. Yeah, you never want to forget the God worlds and how they're put together. It sure does help you to understand who you are and that these are just bodies that you're working with to experience on these different levels. Like the physical body, the physical world. The physical body can't get to the emotional world. You already have a body there. So it's interesting, and it was funny, Science News. This is a great magazine, I have to tell you. And they keep up with all the goodies, new stuff out of universities and stuff. And it's funny, there's an article in this latest one. All animals have emotions. Well, if you understand this God world, you understand that for this physical world to exist, it has to come down through the emotional world. So that means everything here has emotion to it, even the atomic particles. Wow, can't even conceive that sort of thing. But it's cool stuff. All right, so we've got a lot of hurting people out there. And again, thank you guys for the donations. Some of you stepped up like unbelievable. And a lot of these people that we're reading have no money. They've been hurt so bad or got themselves in some really deep karmic areas that they have no way to make money. And so 100% of everything goes to them, for sure. So much love to all of you for that, for sure. So look at this one. Name is IEVA, IEVA, a brain tumor treatment. My name is Aiva, and I am writing you because my friend Oldie has a brain tumor discovered on 3rd of September 2018. Well, that's 6 months ago? Ouch. After for the first time in her life she had a violent epileptic seizure all over the right hand, especially a palm and as well lower limbs of the body. Well, after a while, the inflammation, if you will, not the acidosis is more appropriate to say, creates swelling, the breakdown of tissue. And of course, when you have a tumor, you're highly acidic. You're going to see the seizures. You're going to see all these sort of things like this, strokes like Perry did, these sort of things. And so you only have one way out. When you have a tumor, we get two ways out. You got the medical intervention of surgeries. Well, that's okay. I do not oppose to surgeries if in fact that you understand you have to fix why you have the tumor. And because you'll just have another one develop. And that doesn't fix that whole side of the body that's in trouble. So understanding that the kidneys are the main players here, the kidneys and adrenals, to your happiness, to your energetics, neurologically speaking, remember the autonomic, to the filtration of the giant lymphatic system. When you understand that, then you understand that that's where you have to work. So even though a brain tumor's up here, your focus can't be up here. Your focus has to unfocus and look at the body as a whole and realize you have a system down. And that system down includes the kidneys and the adrenal glands. Always, 100%, always. Then the skin can be down, that locks you even more. Some people oversweat, which is a way the body uses to try to compensate for kidney lack of filtration. That's if your thyroid is halfway decent. If your thyroid is down because of the lymphatic system, again, go back to why tissue becomes hypo or underactive or hyper overactive. Go back to, there's only two sides of chemistry. Pick one that can create this. And medical doctors, it ain't alkalosis. You've been lied to. It is acidosis. Look at the nature of alkalis versus acids. So all you got to do is understand a little bit of chemistry and the effect that each side has on the body. And inflammation is an acid response. So when you have a tumor like that, no matter where it is, you have to go to that system a tumor is, and a tumor is not a blood clot. So that only leaves one other fluid. The simplicity of this is staggering, but the simplicity of creation is staggering. The complexity is fearful. The complexity of everything is beyond any lower mind could handle. the sub-nanos, we don't even know the nano levels, let alone the sub-nano levels, of God is staggering. You couldn't go there. And that's why you can't use the mind to decipher truth. The mind is a totally conditioned instrument. So I was doing a podcast yesterday. It was a 2-hour podcast. Whoo-wee. But it never feels like it because I get in the moment. It's like a lot to talk about. And when you get into physics and you get into chemistry, proper chemistry, then it's easy to understand what's going on with people and how you fix them. Man has created such a complexity out of the simplicity that he's lost himself. And the problem is, by losing yourself too far, you can destroy yourself. And that's what's happening. The humans are destroying themselves. So you have to pull back to simplicity. And those that are involved in complexities and pushing them on others, I liken this kid that's up in front of Congress arguing on vaccinations. This poor kid, dum-dum. You know, he has no idea what he's arguing about when you talk about vaccines. And there are millions upon millions of children and adults now, of course, with ADD, ADHD, and here's these pharmaceutical drug lords saying, oh, there's no link to autism and vaccines. Oh, really? You know, it makes you want to throw up the lies. They can get in trouble for lying to Congress, right? Yeah, because I think their own works, if you look at Dr. Tenpenny's work, she went into CDC centers and showed that the pharmaceutical companies, well, the CDC centers themselves were changing the stats. Pharmaceutical companies know damn well that thimerosal, mercury is a neurotoxin, knows damn well that ADD is a big one. The cost that they would be responsible for is prohibitive, is why they're not going to belly up, obviously. They'll go down fighting, no question. It isn't just ADD, guys. It's the seizures and all the other sad things. I remember this little, she was 18 months old when her mother called me. And right after a Hep B vac, and this is what this kid was arguing about, right after a Hep B vac and another vac, this kid went into seizures. Her left eye took a wayward east. I forget what all happened to her, but a whole line of things happened to her right after the vaccine. This wasn't before, right after. And I've seen enough people in my world that if we paraded all the people I've seen, the parents that tell you that before the vaccine, no problem. Immediately after or a few days after, major problems. No jury in the land would find that vaccines are safe. Not at all. And for those people with mumps and measles, not going to kill you. Clean up your lymphatic system and you won't have mumps and measles. But that's the problem. They make fear around these mumps and measles, these simple things like this, and it's like, fix your lymphatic system. And it's all about understanding a system that they don't. You guys do. And that's vital. Because if you don't understand the lymphatic system and how we teach that, and you got a little surprise for you. Pat, our A&P professor, is coming back and going to be with us. So that's pretty exciting. She also has a medical degree and all that, but she's, I don't know, an A&P professor, for almost 20 years now, I think. So her problem, her hands are so tied at telling the truth. And she's supposed to talk at some symposium about the benefits of vaccines. She just can't do it because there is none. You know, if you want to talk about immunity, develop a natural immunity. I had a pediatrician call me one time and she said, do you believe in vaccinated immunities over natural immunities? And I'm going, you know better than that. She said, I thought so, and that's the way I feel too. And this was a pediatrician. I didn't even know who she was. So it's enough to say that sometimes these young kids argue on things they have no clue to what they're into. And when you get in front of Congress and you got the Congress we have right now, which is way out there, I don't even know where these guys come from. When you want to kill a newborn after it's already born, that's a problem. That's a problem. So this is the side of consciousness we're dealing with, highly negative, and it's you guys that are bringing in the positive side. And the simplicity, understanding of chemistry and physics and how it relates to health. Why raw foods over cooked foods? You know, that's easy. That's a no-brainer. if you understand electricity. If you want electricity, you have a whole house, do you put in a 50 amp panel to burn the whole house, or do you put a 200 amp panel? After IRM and scanner screening, it has been discovered that she has a tumor on the left prefrontal cortex in the size of 3 centimeters. Well, that's getting there. At the moment, she feels heavy tiredness and often epileptic seizures. Holy crap, this is 6 months ago. Well, I don't know when she wrote this, but my friend, I'll just call her a friend, is a 44-year-old woman from France. Unfortunately, she does not speak very well in English, and that is why I am writing you this letter on behalf of her name in order to ask you advice on her current situation, possible improvement. For me, I would immediately put myself on a great fast. Immediately. The darker, the better. Just start fasting. And the word isn't even fasting, really, because you're eating. So I would put myself on a grape diet, a mono grape diet, and there's so many reasons for that. More energy, not just from the electrical properties of the fruit, but from the simplicity of digestion. When you're looking at nature uses detoxification to cure itself. And it'll flatly put you down where you have no appetite at all. It does all the other animals. When an animal gets sick, they don't eat. Well, man has to learn that. This is nothing new. This is nothing bizarre. It's just that when you look at energy management, the body goes through energy management like we do time management. So when you look at energy management, the body can't give X amount of energy to digestion, X amount of energy for metabolism and all these other forms, and at the same time clean itself out. And of course this would be especially true with acid ash forming foods. Remember, there's only 2 sides of chemistry, 2 sides of foods basically, that sort of thing. So it's real simplistic, man's suffering, but it can be real gnarly in the effect. Acids can take you into cystic fibrosis all the way to whatever. Into Lou Gehrig's MS. I don't care what name you stick on it. Back up to it. That's just symptomology named into a disease scenario. That's man's thinking. That's allopathic thinking. Pull back from that and look at, you're living in a world where there's only 2 sides of chemistry. You're living in a world that's electrical. You're living in a world where the body is a food processor, basically breaking down complex chemistry into the simplistic chemistry and those 4 processes, and understand those things. And that's how simple it is. The effect of acidosis on the body is everything you see out there. If you can find another side of chemistry, let me know. The other issue is bacterium and microbes. What do you think nature has a cleaning for? Nature offers a cleansing process. And bacterium and fungi, all of these little creatures are into that. Because what do we have? A created universe. So all the atoms that will ever be, will always be here, is already here. And I've said this before, if you're a mother and you want to conceive and have a baby, where are you going to get the atoms to make a baby? Because look at the atoms, then form elements, and then elements then form complexes, compounds, and then you get structure and form. So everything goes back to the atomic structure of things again. So the atoms are like Lego pieces. They make up everything. So when you go back to that, how do you get atoms and elements to make other forms when it's already completed? All of them are always going to be here. That's physics. Everything's going to already here. You have birth, life, and death to accomplish that. And in that process, you have to have little creatures of life to help you break down tissue and stuff to get back to the atoms again. And that's our little microbial kingdom. Nothing to fear, something to understand. And that's where man just fears everything but him, but the things he's doing. So, if a tumor is part of the lymphatic system, no matter where it is, and the lymphatic system uses the kidneys and the skin to eliminate, would it make sense that that's where your focus is going to be, is in the eliminative organs? Because if you're not eliminating metabolitic waste properly, and that's all a tumor is in the brain, is the inability to remove metabolitic acids, and the body's isolating those metabolitic acids. Look at Dr. Pimple Popper. You could go into the brain and pop that tumor open. You see the same thing as Dr. Pimple Popper sees on external tumors. Same stuff. It's necrotic proteins, acids. That's what all that is. Just like tonsil stones look the same thing. Sewage in the urine looks the same when you start filtering, don't it? Just more in flakes than in mashed potato looks. So you're always going to work on the eliminative organs, because you would not have a problem in the body if the eliminative organs were working properly. Even though acidosis creates agglomulation, hardening, everybody stays at home, nothing's moving well, that sort of thing. So you have to look at these tissues. The whys go back to man's dietary habits, no question. No question. For allopathy to say that your diet has no effect or no related link to diseases shows you the extreme ignorance that diseases are simply a fabrication of the medical mind and has no basis in reality. True reality has basis in science, true science, not fictional pharmaceutical science. Even chemistry has a lot of pseudo-consciousness to it. It's amazing to me that anybody would think humans are in alkalosis as opposed to acidosis. It makes absolutely no chemical sense whatsoever when you understand the metabolitic wastes are not alkalis, and that most of the alkalis are your electrolytes. None of that makes sense at all, and understanding in chemistry that the alkaline side of chemistry is an anionic side of chemistry. That is not an agglomerated side of chemistry. What we see is the hardening, the stiffness, that's agglomeration. That is simply acidosis. And it's easy to determine that. How they get off on this is amazing to me. I don't know. It's like planned or something. It's difficult to understand that. So you'd be working on the eliminative organs. So I'd be working with herbs because of botanicals. I love botanicals. Botanicals are tissue specific. They're not for diseases. That's man's fabrication. They're for kidneys. They're for our livers. They're for hearts. They're for circulation. The great divine created herbs for all body. Although it just makes sense that there's botanicals that will affect and help increase the function of cells of kidneys, cells of liver, cells of hearts and bowels and things like that. You also have herbs that help to accelerate cleansing of the human body. Lymphatic herbs, they're all there. Cool stuff when you look at botanical kingdom. So a lot of you are trying to get well just on diet. If you can afford botanicals, highly recommend that you move to the botanicals big time. And I'm a formula maker, so I love formulas more than single herbs, but because you could take 1,000 single herbs trying to get the effect, that synergistic effect of a lot of the herbs. I like to put a lot of these synergistic herbs together. They work together better, they help excite each other better, and therefore you have, to me, a better result in terms of affecting cells and their function and their effect upon fluids as well. Keep it in mind, the bodies are nothing but cells and two fluids, except for water. She really admires our lectures and advices given on health topics, tumors, and cancer treatments. Now remember, these aren't advices on treatments. I don't give advice on treatments, and there's a good reason for it. They'd come lock me up. I don't treat diseases. Do I even buy into the fallacy of that? You have to realize that. You cannot treat anything. You have to fix the cause of it. You can't treat the effect of something. That's and even in our natural health field, we were talking about that yesterday on this podcast about stool implantation and urine therapy and stuff. This is a group, even in my side of this, that are reaching for anything because they don't understand the lymphatic system. They don't understand simplistic chemistry. So when you don't understand what causes things, you're grabbing for stool implantation to reseat the bowel. Give me a friggin' break. You don't have to reseat anything. You have to understand why you have what you have going on and what the world of antibiotics have done to people. Medical profession has screwed up humans really, really bad and continue to do so under the facade of intellectualism and the facade that I know what I'm talking about and you guys are crazy. Right. Yeah, it's not us smoking something in the back room, it's them. And most of those don't smoke. A lot of medical doctors in this town, they don't do the weed, they do the harder stuff. Just saying. reality be told, truth be told. Oh, I'm glad she follows us, and so she should be on fruit immediately. As soon as you find out you've got a tumor or something, put yourself on a grape diet. Grape diet, lemons, you can add lemons, you can add all fruit, I don't care. But mono is even more energetic, more simplistic for digestion, and the body will give a lot of its energy to remove all these. Do some dry fasting, do some water fasting. That's how you have to do it. Then I'm going to go after you with herbs. Our practitioners here, it doesn't cost much to have one of our counselors help you. You don't even have to see them for a month or something. It's only a couple $100 or something. I mean, it ain't much. You're surprising. It's not like medical. And so to have a practitioner here put your feet on the path, it's well worth it, But you're always going to think about herbs for the kidneys, herbs for the adrenal glands, number one. Number two, you take a look at the body. A lot of you know about the pituitary, the parathyroids, and I'm just, when I look out in the world, there's just such ignorance about those, and you guys are just, this is the parathyroid, that's how you fix that. It's like, I'm so proud of you guys. Amazing. Currently, she is on raw food, perfect fruit mono diet. Yes, I should read on. I don't pre-read these, so she is also taking pills. Kepra, 750, doctors are insisting on skull opening in order to closer analyze the actual brain tumor causing damages. Well, I mean, if you're going to open up the skull, take the tumor. Take the tumor, and then she can finish up by detoxing and heal the trauma from surgery, because remember, there's a lot of trauma with surgery. Well, the lymphatic system removes trauma. It isn't the blood that takes damaged cells away. It's the lymph system. Look at your A and P. Your lymph nodes are designed, that's where your macrophages are. It's in anatomy physiology. Sometimes they go through these courses so fast they forget. So if the lymph nodes are not hooked to the blood, I mean, you have a blood supply to the cells, obviously, but they are hooked to the lymphatic system. They're the septic tanks of the human body. Let's look at them as septic tanks. And you have two factors in them. You have bacterium, which are for the acids, the metals, and then you have the macrophages, the cannibal cells that help to phagocyze or to get rid of, chew up, or terminate your damaged cells. It doesn't go through the blood. Pat and I did a video on that some time back, and she's the A&P professor. I'm just a lowly naturopath. But if you're going to open up the skull, you want to take the tumor while you're doing it, as far as I'm concerned. But you can take, when you're starting to get seizures out of these things, work with herbal antispasmodics, because that's real important to keep the seizures down. Herbal antispasmodics. I don't know about upper circulation. I'm still having I don't know about circulatory issues when you have tumors, because you have a blood supply. If it's an interstitial tumor, the tumor wrapped around the cells from all the interstitial stagnation, then you're going to have a blood supply to that. And increasing blood flow, I don't know, just something tells me no. So that would be a case where I would, if the tumor is removed, of course I would increase blood flow to the head. And I would use the brain and nerve to enhance and to repair neurons. At the same time, I'm going after the system that gave me the tumor, and that is the great lymphatic system. And that's going to take you right back to the kidneys, the adrenal glands, the skin, and the thyroid. And by the time you have a brain tumor, the left thyroid, if it's on the left side, the left thyroid is probably in a hypostate too. Anything on this side is going to be lymphatically congested. Because go back, think I'm a cell in the thyroid. I'm doing good genetically. I'm pretty good genetically. So then how do I become hypo or hyperactive? Hyper generally first, and then hypo second, but it can be hypo. How do you affect my performance? How do you shut down my ability as a cell to perform? Blood? Nah. If my blood isn't getting to my thyroid cells, I got no thyroid cells, right? So it ain't blood. And blood is alkaline. It has to maintain its alkalinity to maintain its viscosity. So that only leaves one other system that's interstitial. Hello! And just because one doesn't understand it, get away from this focus looking and pull back. Now, again, we talked a lot about getting lost in thoughts and old ideas and concepts because they're dead. I talked about this on that podcast yesterday, how memories are dead. If you're trying to get back into research and things like that from the past, these things are dead. What's happening now? What's on the plates now? Right? So that's neat. She's going after this. She's in favor of alternative medicine to cure her body from the tumor. So I want to back up here. This is I get this, but I just want to refresh you that the medical doctors is the one that labeled us alternative. Alternative to what? We're the number one. They're alternative. See, this world is full of lies and deceits. So the medical profession isn't number one. God is number one. So natural healing from nature, which you can't get around it. Everything comes out of nature. Sorry. Everything. All the elements, no matter how fancy your equipment is, everything came out of nature. So nature's uno number one, and it's healers. Whether they're good healers or not, that's whatever. But the natural side of life is the mainstream healing, should be on any planet in the physical world, because nature is the number one source of all things. Then allopathy is alternative, because if we can't get you here, you're going to need something. Because generally, if we can't get you, they're far from being able to get you, and then you're going down. So it's just that their alternative, they like to turn around and throw it to us, because they're trying to throw the treatment-based thinking onto us and then send the FDA or other states after you for using the word treatment. I mean, these guys are unbelievable. At least the higher levels of them are. And it's just, you got to wake up to what the con that's going on here on this planet. And this is a big con from the allopathic community. And some of the great medical doctors have been pulled into this, and they're lost into it. They have no idea what's really going on. Some of them fully believe that vaccines are beneficial to you. Really? They've never done their own research. I do my own research. So it's just that sort of thing. So, and we're not medicine. Herbs are not medicinos. They're healers. They're tissue enhancers. They're specifically for body systems and body cells. Call them what you want. That's not medicine. You know, the world of medicine is very alternative, but has become mainstream, and they're full of themselves. We're number one. You're some alternative quacks, because there's a big thing going in the medical community that the natural health people are quacks. Oh, really? Yeah, I'll put my YouTubers against any medical clinic, including the Mayo, Cleveland, any of these big fancy clinics. I'll put my YouTubers against them. Let's see who can out-heal the other. You won't get any takers, guarantee you, because it would be extremely embarrassing on their part. Hey, St. Jude's, let's put our YouTubers against your hospital here. Let's take 1,000 of your babies and see what you're doing with them, and we'll take 1,000 of your babies and we'll see what we do with them. They won't take that because the word would be out. I'm just saying. So, you want to get this tumor out of the body, you have to reverse simply how you created it. That's all that is. To treat it could be your death. You know? Or we want to shrink it a little bit. For those of you that are dealing with the C word, this idea of remission, remember, remission is just that I burned your tumor and shrunk it. And so you must be getting better. Remember the blowback to that. You cannot give someone Drano and think you're going to come out in real good shape from it. Some of you come out of it, but the effects can be long term with that. The percentages of you are short, though, not much. Would it be possible for you to give advice that would be most urgent step to take right now? Oh, she's already doing it. Mono diet, mono fruit. I would do into the grapes. I would get botanicals for the kidneys, several formulas for the kidneys, go after the adrenals, definitely go after the lymphatic system. So I would at least start with one lymphatic formula, and then after a month move up to two. Especially get your kidneys filtering. I would suggest dry fasting, 24 to 36 hours. What you want her pee is to have some sediment in it. And tell the medical doctors, I'm working on sediment in my urine and don't think I have an infection because you're crazy. I need my kidneys to filter. And the problem is your right kidney will probably filter before your left. So you just have to keep hitting it, keep hitting it, keep hitting it, and work that side of it. Water fast if you have to. Because outside of that, there's not much out there except surgery, and then you still have to fix the problem. All right, thank you so much. Here's a spinal injury, ligament and herniated disc. Hi, Dr. Morse. I'm 27 years young. And 2 years ago, I partially broken my spine, ligaments, and herniated 5 discs on my spine. Oh, yes, and also 4 bulging discs. Yeah. See, and I know this sounds like a broken record, but healing power comes in to the side of chemistry that you're living on. There's no question to that. If you believe that life has 2 sides to it, which you have to because there's 2 sides to life, the good, the bad, the up, the down, the male, the female, the positive, the negative, the yin, the yang, whatever you do, there's 2 sides. That's how you get magnetism. That's how you get movement and activity. That's how you get form. That's how creation is able to exist, is because of duality. Outside of duality, remember, there's just the one. So understanding that creation is dualistic is important, because when you have degeneration, whether it's from trauma or whatever, you also have regeneration. So to fix this spinal injury, you would have to be on the side of chemistry that is regenerative. Well, there's only 2 sides of chemistry, and it's easy to determine. Put your finger in some baking soda, and then put your finger in some hydrochloric acid. See which one is rebuilding and which one is degenerative. Don't take long, does it? So it's important to understand that it is the acid side that's corrosive. At least we chemists agree on that. And it's that side. Well, trauma is very acidic to the body, no question about it. You've damaged cells, you've damaged tissues, you've maybe even blocked blood flow and lymph flow, all these sort of things. So now, when you see an injury that won't heal, what's going on? If you're on a good diet, well, I should heal, right? Yeah, but is your body removing the trauma? Is your body removing these cells that were traumatized? Is your body allowing good alkaline electrical chemistry into that area? Or are you highly agglomerated? So when you're 27 years old, I can tell you that at 27, I could probably make a bold statement that 99% of 27-year-olds have serious kidney and adrenal problems and lymphatic problems. I can just guarantee you, the world over. It's just the nature of what we've done, and the diet of man has brought man to. So you see all the skin problems, all the neurological problems, just goes on and on and on. And then we have a mad science here that wants to stick the body full of more neurotoxins, kill all the bacteria in the body that helps you, and all this kind of crap. Because they don't understand why you would have mumps or measles, why you would have a flu, why you would have these sort of things, and why virals stay at home. As one medical doctor said, clean the terrain. Clean the terrain. But that's what I would do. I'd use the same thing as you have a brain tumor as I would spinal injury. Matter of fact, when you're dealing in the nervous system or the spinal cord, I'm total fruits 100%. It is regenerative, it is electrical, it is everything you want. It is electrolyte rich, it's hydrating, it's antispasmodic, it's anti-inflammatory, it's all those things. The acid side is the inflammatory side, is the spastic side, because it ravishes the body of calcium, magnesium, the electrolytes. So it's easy to understand that when you understand very simple chemistry. When you get into theory chemistry, good luck. Good luck. And you don't even need to go there, because they're trying to get into complex chemistry, and that even makes them get lost further. So that's what I'd be doing. And then I would also be working on my kidneys and adrenal glands. I'd be checking my parathyroid big time. And of course the pituitary there, get a picture of your eyes, my friend. But work with the parathyroid a little more, because that's calcium utilization. And I would use like bones and connective tissue, that type of herbal formula, because that's herbs that accelerate bone regeneration. So when you're working with those, you're working with the parathyroid, which allows the body to utilize calcium. You're removing the acid trauma from these areas, because when you're not having kidney filtration, you're not even able to remove the trauma, let alone repair. Because I've said this before, you've got to remove trauma a lot of times before repair can begin. It's neat to see, though, in detox, there's a lot of regeneration going on during the process of detoxification. It's neat to see. I'm in a lot of pain. And say pain is what side of chemistry? Acid side of chemistry. I can't walk for a long time or run or do what other guy at my age can do, but you will. You will, but you have to stay focused. It's going to take you 6 months or more to get this thing repaired, but you want to stay really focused when you do this. And stay 100% raw. Don't deviate. You don't need any cooked food right now. That's later and only for balance, maybe. I was very active before this, and all this condition is giving me a lot of stress, no kidding, and anxiety. Well, that's your adrenals, and you already have adrenal issues, I can already tell you, to be where you are and not repair. So increasing the adrenal glands increases steroid production, neurotransmitter production, right? Being alkaline will help take the pain out of there. Anytime, well, do this, my friend. Go on a highly fruit diet, very like a really dark grape diet for, maybe a month. Start to get that pain out of there, and then just have you some protein. Let me show you. Let me show you exactly. Just have you a bunch of nuts. Let me show you what will happen to your pain level. So right now isn't the time to do protein, or you'll just sit there and live with the pain. Proteins exacerbate pain because they're the nitrogen side of chemistry. And that's not what you need right now. Start to drink wine and smoking cigarettes, but this is not the way I know. Oh, you don't want to do that. I don't care about organic red wine, okay, if you want to have a little, all right. But smoking a cigarette, you'll never fix yourself. You're dumping acids right into the blood, and talk about exacerbation of pain. Same thing with smoking marijuana. Anything like that. Anything you smoke, it can be mullein, an anti-inflammatory, a great herb. Smoke it, and you're creating combustion, you're creating acids, and then those acids are going right into the bloodstream. Well, you're going to lose calcium, which is the thing you're looking for too. So you're counterproductive here. So you got to quit smoking. You won't ever fix yourself. So that's a big deal. You want to quit that right off. You want to do an oil like CBD, all right, that's something different. But be careful how much you do that. I want to restart my life. I have 2 questions. Sorry for the bad English. I'm from Italy. I don't know. My grandmother was a school teacher, and it's like, I'm sorry, but there's no bad English. Ain't there? No, there ain't. In this disease for life, I want to heal and want to. You don't have a disease for life, man. You have trauma. You have injury. No disease is here. You just have to fix yourself. Repair. But repair does not happen when you're acidic. And when you're smoking, that even makes you more acidic than ever. I want to try to dry fast, then break the fast with raw foods, but I don't know how long I should fast for. Well, first of all, get on the fruit first. Don't try to dry fast cold turkey. I disagree with that. Get yourself on fruit for a few weeks. Get everything opened up. Get the bowels cleaned up a little bit. Get on some herbs that clean the bowel. Get on our 14-week detox or whatever. And get yourself moving a little bit first. Then dry fast a little bit. Fasting cold turkey is not good for anybody. Even in the Shelton detox clinics, you always went on a little raw before you went into water fasting. Good idea to get all the proteins and the plaque out of the bowels if you can. Clean all that stuff up a little bit. Move yourself from, say, salads and into the fruit, and then from the fruit into some dry fasting. And then break it with fruit. You don't break fasting with vegetables. You break everything with fruit. And of course, breakfast is always breaking the fast from the night before, so breakfast is always fruit. You feel so good if you have a big bowl of fruit for breakfast and all the way to lunch, and then have you a salad at lunch, and then light supper with fruit. You'll feel so good. That's how I would do that, my dear one. Peppy? Fasting, dry fasting, you can dry fast for as long as you want, but I really start out with short ones, 24 to 36 hour ones. See if that's enough to get the kidneys, but I would get on botanicals to help me out big time. You don't have a cold and flu-like symptom here. Yeah, spinal cord injury. And I don't take that lightly. Bulging discs, herniated discs, absolutely. So you have to get all this inflammation or acidosis out of your body. Well, the only channel for that is through the lymphatic system. You can bring alkalinity through the blood, obviously. But if you don't move the lymph, then you bam, 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 and you just seem to never get better. This is from Ellen. I'm on the highway to hell. Please help. Ooh. Yeah. Oh, man. I hate that. I am a cynic, a doubter of all things, but since discovering the wonderful world of you, thanks, honey, I have turned into a positive being. And you should, because your experience on the negative side isn't a lot of fun, you know what I mean? It's a lot more fun and a lot more happier when you're on the positive side, and that's what you'll bring to you. You bring to you what you put out there, remember that. If you put out negative thoughts and you talk about others and all that, that's what your life's going to be. It's going to kind of keep blowing back on you. And after a while, you're going to get depressed and unhappy because your world isn't happy. Well, you're not putting it out there. So what you put out, you get back. Remember, it's a law of physics. Jesus said you reap what you sow. The Hindus and the Indians, they firmly said karma, baby. And so the Buddhists and things had a simple word for it. In physics, we simply call for every action there's an opposite and equal reaction. So that applies to emotions, that applies to thoughts, and also in the mundane world of chemistry. Apprehensive but beaming with hope in my quest for happiness. Brief synopsis is, but must let you know why I feel so compromised at this moment in time, which I believe is doubting my symptoms. My beautiful, strong, healthy, as we were led to believe, caring and disciplined father passed away from multiform glioblastoma in November. Just gone. Yeah, you know, sometimes the outer doesn't reflect the inner, if you know what I mean. I was extremely close to him, as all my siblings and mother were. I live and am from Ireland. Ireland! I have some Irish skin, I think. Tend to be big, close-knit, so the prospect of death or loss of the head of our family is devastating. Well, when you realize that the soul that inhabited that body called your father just dropped his physical body, and that if you learn how to turn within yourself, that you can communicate and enjoy the relationship even more. That individual probably didn't drop anything but the physical body. Anyway, it was what I believe to be hell. I don't speak in jest. I don't follow any religious belief, but they speak of hell, and I am there. All of us were. Yeah, I mean, this is a birth, life, and death planet. And it's the same thing in relationships. It's easy to get attached to someone. Even if the relationship isn't working well, it's hard to break apart. And that's for those that don't have a good sense of the self. You know, this is why I always said you have to spend some time alone, appreciating who you are as an individual and realizing how creation is put together. And that at one level, no one goes anywhere. We're all one. No one is anywhere. When you're in consciousness, no one is anywhere separate from where you are. Difficult to understand from the mind, because the mind deals with separation, dualistic, the two sides of life, form, no form, that sort of thing. So the illusion of that is scary sometimes, because one has and then one has not. So you feel like you have something in your world and then it's ripped away. Like that tornado that killed all these people and your whole life is devastated. But that's your outer world. You should never let your outer world control who you are. And that's difficult. These are lessons that help you to grow spiritually. Because spiritually speaking, when you start to wake up to your awareness, to consciousness, your Father, that being, is right here with you. In creation, there's there. Here and there. In consciousness, everything is here. Here now, in the present moment. Everything is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. Hard to understand that through the mind. Because the mind, as I said, looks dualistically at things, looks at separation, comparisons, analysis, things like that. So if you want to know truth and feel more happy in your heart, you'll pull back and understand that you're the living truth. And that so is your father, so is your mother, and so is your siblings. And each one are going to be leaving their body at a certain time because they're just here experiencing the days of our lives. And then you're just in a day of our lives drama that the players got messed around. One of the players had to leave the set. The set, the days of our lives, keeps on going. Just like that Perry guy that died. The set will just keep on going because the player had to step out. He was wrote out of the script. Didn't know how to take care of himself properly. But that's the way it is, and maybe it was that soul's time to take another journey, obviously. So you can't judge. You have to understand. And by understanding, it makes you more whole, more secure, and give divine love to the family members. Knowing that I'm going to say goodbye to some of you. I've said goodbye to all my family members. I'm the only one left. My sister was younger than I am. So it's just, it just realize that they left this set, this movie set, the Days of Our Lives set, but they didn't leave and are gone forever, because in consciousness nothing can go anywhere. Nothing can be created and nothing is destroyed in consciousness. Hard to understand that, but if you understand, that is the omnipresence and the omnipotence and the omniscience of the divine. And it's hard to understand how something is so whole and complete. Creation is within that matrix. There's no, looking at duality makes it very difficult to understand the one. So when you begin to let go of your thoughts and your emotions and you begin to live as an observer as opposed to a thinker, you will feel more whole within yourself. And you'll realize that you're going to say goodbye to a lot of people. A lot of souls playing out the role on this movie set. Go somewhere else, the movie sets are all over the place. It's the grand movie. They've always said everything is of the micro is a reflection of the macro. And that's just what it is. We have movies here, you have movies, everything is a movie. From your life to going to the show and watching a movie. It's one movie into another movie into another movie into another movie. And that's why I say all these games and things like that, you're just getting lost deeper and deeper outside of reality. So how lost can you get? How long till you find yourself? I'm just saying. I don't follow any religious belief. Well, good. Religious beliefs can be like a chain around your neck, defining your life experiences. And it's like the only job of religion should be to reconnect you to yourself and the divine. And if it's not doing that, it restricts you. It always gives promises, you're going to have X amount of virgin when you die, you're going to have this when you die, and you're going to have the heavens if you repent and all that stuff. Really? I mean, these things are all limitations to one's experience and builds fear, and it builds an agenda to whatever the priestcraft want. So everything is agenda driven here in creation. You want to know who's the creator. You want more of the divine and the higher level of experiences here, as opposed to the promises of an afterlife of being good. Make that promise in the now. The future never comes here. The future is just successions of the now. So by living in the now, you will always be present. You will always be happy. You will understand more of who God is, or that which we call God. And you will understand more and more and more. And so what's promised to you will actually become reality to you in the present moment, not in some future promise that never takes place. I watched my extremely health-conscious father be ravished by the horrific symptom of acidosis. Absolutely. And if you watch it, you can see it. Because that's what it is. It's all acidosis. I still can't speak about it or have the courage to think about it because it has broken my heart and crushed my soul into dark, gray, bland shadow. Well, I will tell you, that soul that your father is probably on the inner hugging you going, honey, don't, I'm fine. I'm more light. I'm more love. I'm more of a being than I was in the physical. So to hold souls to the limitation of the physical is an injustice to them as well. And we tend to do that. We tend to hold on to our loved ones, pulling that soul back and holding on to that soul, instead of rejoicing that that soul now is free from the earthly chains of this highly chemical body, and that this soul is now having a far grander experience, or reincarnated, however you wish to look at it. But again, look at that in terms of you. Don't create your own darkness. Celebrate the fact that your father actually was his time to enjoy the freedom from this world. This body is a chain. When you wake up, you realize that it's claustrophobic, that it's what binds you to this world of duality and chemistry. It has the least freedom of all your other bodies. When you can move by thought, as opposed to moving this physical body around, it's hard. I have a hard time moving this body fast enough. I've got so much to do and I'm so busy, my body just can't keep up with it. You know, I find myself going out a door when I'm coming back in. So, it's just one of those things, I've always had certain ailments throughout life, tonsillitis as a child, so what's that? That's your lymphatic system, right? So you can see that passed down. And eventually removal of my 20s, followed by copious courses of antibiotics. Here we go. Destroy the bacteria in the lymph nodes. That helps you even more to become acidotic. And, the gastrobacteria infections like Helicobacter pylori will clean up your ingestion of your foods. Don't be a host for these. These are only taking advantage of a host. And you might be the host of the mostest. I hope I pulled that spelling off. Who cares? Also treated with antibiotics. Of course. That's all they know. Talk about us at a broken record of the lymphatic system. Oh my God. Allopathy's one huge broken record. Holy crap. Except our broken record leads to truth. Their broken record leads to serious, serious health problems. I've always had eczema. Well, there we go. I've always had eczema or psoriasis, but each doc always guesses it's one or the other. Who cares? Who even cares what you call it on the skin? Who cares? Call it whatever you want it. It's still the same chemistry, just different levels of it. Who cares what's involved? Who cares what cells are being damaged? You have to fix it. And that's going to lead you into one system and one system only. What system does the skin belong to? It ain't the blood, the lymphatic system, guys. So here you go. Your kidneys are down, just like your dad's. Your adrenals are down. Your lymphatic system's down. Your thyroid's probably down because the skin is down. Get a picture of your eyes and take a look. See if you have a big skin ring to show you if you have chronic skin weaknesses. Little red itchy patches around my breasts, in between armpits. Doesn't matter where they are, does it? Do they itch? What would that mean? A little fungus in us? Well, when you have adrenals down, and of course man loves complex polysaccharides or disaccharides, which is your starches and your sugars, complex sugars. You're going to invite the fungal community because the adrenal glands generally don't have the power to break down sugar at those levels. So everybody gets full of fungus, and then we eat fungal foods like cheeses and fermented foods. Well, that brings more fungus into the body. And then, oh, wow, I've got fungus. I want to get rid of it. Well, don't eat fungal foods. So it doesn't matter where these little red spotches are and all this sort of thing. You only have one remedy. And that one remedy is detoxification. Get your kidneys to filter, get your adrenals up, and start moving this lymph system. Hydrate yourself. And your skin problems will disappear, the itching, you'll get a hold of the fungal issues, and all the other things will clean themselves up. All these patches, all these red spots and growths on the body, any moles or warts will fall off of the body, that sort of thing. But a lot of you, when you see moles and warts growing all of you, you really have adrenal weakness. You're a fungal head. So, take Parasite M or Parasite G and M till these things fall off. Notice that they're wherever the lymph system is the most. Women can get all cheesy under here too, nasty and stuff. Same thing with the arms and everywhere. This is just the lymph system, guys. And it shows stagnation. That's the scary side. This shows stagnation of the lymphatic system. And the skin is trying to push that out. No, no, no. You don't want the skin to bear the brunt over the kidneys because you're seeing what's happening to you. And so make sure your basal temperatures are up, your thyroid is up, your adrenals are up, your kidneys are filtering. Make sure your urine has sediment in it. Remember the sediment in the urine. Remember the sediment in the jar. You want your jar to have sediment in it. Oh, but you have a major infection. Top of my legs, doesn't matter. Well, what you're saying is basically, no offense, but basically you have head to toe lymph stagnation. And they're popping up all over the place. Under the breast, inside the ears, back, top of legs. Yep. But each kidney, remember, each kidney drains each side of the body respectively. Right, the left, the left. Head to little toe. And so you can see problems from the top of your head, dandruff and all kinds of things, to fungus on the toenails, warts, blisters, you name it. It's all part of the... Remember, there's only two sides of chemistry, and chemistry is everything. Everything comes out of chemistry. There's nothing that doesn't come out of chemistry. And you only have two sides to it. So take your pick. Oh, apparently on the groin as well. But that's all where the lymphatic system is heavily, and the lymph nodes. I have a bad feeling about these steroid creams. Really? I would. All they're trying to do is suppress, to treat the symptom. Well, taking a steroid does what? Shut your own production of steroids down. You produce your cortisols and your progesterones. These are your anti-inflammatory steroids. They can be used for this. So why aren't they? See, so when you see this happening, cholesterols could be sleeping in on you, and then you start getting cholesterol plaquing because your steroid production is low. They're giving you synthetic steroids, which is slamming your adrenals even more, meaning your lymphatic system's going to back up even more, and then the blowback comes. A lot of you young guys and gals know the blowback from steroid creams. I mean, I hear it every day. So you don't fall into those traps. You're trying to treat something they don't understand, and by doing that, they're taking you deeper to Hellville. And then we have to pull you out of there. The quacks, the natural health people, have to pull you out of there. Amazing world. I want it gone. Well, then get it gone. And the only way you're going to get it gone is you have to take your life in your own hands. Let's start realizing this channel is nothing about educating you. So you understand the lymphatic system and the kidneys and start working on it. And all of that will clear up. This is quite easy, really. There's a lot tougher cases here that people have to deal with than this. These cases are fairly easy. We've showed you plenty of cases. Even Shane showed you the lady from Dubai. I showed you Miss Philippines, who, before she was Miss Philippines, she was a red beet. Head to toe. Clean it up. Nothing landed on you. Nothing cursed you. It's the nature of the beast living on this planet. It's full of lies, propaganda, brainwashing. Money buys anything and everything. In the year that my dad learned he had cancer, I left my job and went on this journey with him. I was going to redeem all the times I let him down or made him angry or disappointed. You can't live there. That's life on the rock. You cannot live there. You know, you'll take yourself into Hellville, and then it's only you that can get yourself out, dear one. So why would your dad approve of you taking yourself into Hellville over him? No. And he probably has his arm around you right now. You're just unaware of it, telling you, no, honey, don't condemn yourself. That's life on the fast track here. That's days of our lives. Days of our lives have all types of emotions, the good, the bad, the ugly, all types of thoughts, the good, the bad, the ugly. That's the nature of creation and drama. And you're in one big drama. And how many dramas are you involved in? If you want to be free from that drama, Stop thinking and stop feeling so much. Get away from your desires and your emotions. Start just hanging out with yourself. Just watch things for a while. Become the observer. Get out of thought and emotions. Or they will take you to hellville and you'll be struggling even more to get out, and then your health goes down even more. Would that be worth it? There's no other soul on this rock worth any of you taking yourselves to hellville over. No one. You never want to lose yourself over no one. And that applies to everyone. So if everyone felt that way, no one would lose themselves at all, would they? All right, where are we at now? I developed sinusitis. No kidding. Well, heading for a brain tumor, right? I mean, when you get congested in the sinuses, are you doing cheeses? Things like that? I mean, if you're doing dairy products, expect the mucus to come. But then when you start detoxing, what's going to happen? Oh, you're going to catch a cold or flu, right? All this stuff's going to start coming out. Hay fever, sore and stiff joints, especially my left shoulder. Seems to be left-sided, doesn't it? Well, what side of chemistry causes stiffness and tightness, soreness, pain? Let me see. There's two sides. Let me guess here. Could it be the electrolyte side? Nah, only one other side, guys. Acids. Stick your finger into some battery acid and see if it doesn't hurt. I mean, you're just giving me total symptoms of systemic acidosis is what you got. And you're seeing a whole system backed up head to toe. What color are your eyes? You know, look at that and see how bad your lymph system's backed up here. When my sinuses flared up, my head is jam-packed with mucus. No kidding. So, let's go back to Arnold Ehret. Love that guy. He's the man that at least set, and of course society kind of went like this. You know, certain foods are mucus forming. Is that fruits, berries, melons, and vegetables? Nah. So it's going to be grains, it's going to be proteins, absolutely. And dairy proteins are your worst mucus forming foods on the planet. Anything dairy that's been pasteurized in particular is going to be highly mucus. Anything that irritates the mucosa, to be honest with you, cayenne pepper is mucus forming. Anything that's hot, for a guy like me who's used to fruit, extremely mucus forming. I can have a little hot cayenne pepper and I feel my ears getting clogged up. I can't hear and I go, ah! I had cayenne, it's supposed to be healthy, right? Now I got mucus in my head because I had something natural. See, when you go on fruits and berries and melons, your mucosa gets real clean and sensitive. Very sensitive. And when even vegetables, you get very sensitive to abrasive types of peppers and things like this. Spices, you have to be real careful or you'll clog yourself right back up. I've done it many times. Cleaned, put myself back. Cleaned, put myself back. Duh. Sometimes the 2x4 has to hit a few times. Oh, okay, but my left nostril swells and leaks uncomfortably. Body just trying to get rid of it, dear one. I get sometimes shark ache in the back of my left ear. I can't smell or taste. You know, when you get clogged up with mucus, you know, when I first cleaned myself out, I was living in the woods. I started smelling pine trees because I was living around pine trees. And I love the smell and the wind blowing through a pine tree, especially Asian pines. Oh, such a beautiful melody. And I realized I was smelling for the first time since I was young, and that I had been smelling by memory. Just saying. So, what clogs the olfactories? What clogs the sinuses? Mucus, right? Well, where do you get the mucus? Couldn't be your diet, could it? Industrial solvents and things like this, when you breathe, could cause mucus, absolutely. Anything abrasive, corrosive, is going to irritate the mucosa and going to cause mucus. End of story. You can blame whatever you want, but you'll be sitting there blaming it forever. So fix it. How do you fix it? Get away from mucus-forming foods, number one, and get on the anionic alkaline side of chemistry. It's the only way. There's not a million ways to get well. There's not a million different modalities to get well. They used to say, why don't you work with the allopathic community and you two work together? We're polar opposite in our thinking. I'm not going to compromise truth for someone who's working on flawed theories just because I want to get along with flawed theories and a modality that's killing people by the millions worldwide. Are you kidding? We have to stand up and get with this, or humans don't have a real long way to go here. I mean, that's been proven. All right, let's see, move through this. My body odor smells. You think? Well, you're doing too many meats and stuff. Meat causes body odor. It's putrefactive. Anything oh, man. Oh, you eat meat. Oh, I can smell your butt. That's the problem. Even your stool stinks. Your stool as a raw foodist does not stink, guys. That's why you would rather smell horse poop than cat poop. Guarantee ya. I never had body odor. Sounds like your body's getting backed up lymphatically big time. Even your own cells dying can be necrotic. So, you got this is a full warning here that your body's in high acidosis and that you're breaking down your tissues. Fix yourself. My feet sweat so much and I have rock hard skin on my feet and get corns a lot, bunions too. Now, why would your feet sweat a lot? Where's some of your largest cells in your body, your largest pores even? Thank you. So when your feet sweat, your body's clogged big time. Any way the body can get toxins out, it's gonna. It's gonna. That's why you get smelly feet, things like that. You eat raw food, you don't get smelly feet. You don't get jock stuff. I think I've been suffering extreme anxiety for a few years now, you think? And of course that probably plays into your feelings about your father. Well, where does that come from? The adrenal glands, your emotions, that's the adrenal glands. Well, where do they sit? On top of your kidneys. Well, what does your kidneys and adrenals control partly? The great lymphatic system. Broken record? Broken record. She has panic attacks, so that's all. She has massive social phobias. It's all adrenals. Sounds like your adrenals are way down. It means your either blood pressure is real low or now you're starting to jack it way up. And compulsive urges to seek joy. Acid reflux, acute. Burns so bad and feels like no sleeping. So you're up with the pineal gland. You need to hook to a counselor here. She's got a list a mile long. I don't know what to tell you. I could sit here and read it all day. Constant diarrhea, bloody stool a lot. That ain't good, honey. That ain't good. Sounds like you got a laundry list of acidosis and lymph stagnation here. All these things aren't separate problems. They all lead to the same system down, and you can fix them all. Nasal polyps, nodules on the left side of the neck. Well, that's not good. Been there years, but there's more and bigger now. You're going to get your butt in serious trouble, dear one, and you're going to have some serious way to go if you don't get your stuff turned around right now. Had a biopsy, let's just have biopsy him. Since we don't know the lymphatic system, let's just go and invade tissue and damage it even more. The area of eczema is the absolute worst. Is my armpits, crotch, chest, under right breast, all over abdomen, sleep paralysis, constant compulsion for picking my dry scalp. Constant, I'm aware I do, go on and on and on. Lost my love for exercise, lazy. Well, I don't need to read on. It's all the same stuff. This is Ellie O'Connor, Emerald Isles. Honey, you got to turn your life around or you ain't going to have much of one. I predict Alzheimer's, dementia, and everything else coming your way too. Honey, where'd I park the car? Nursing home. Let's keep on going. You got to fix yourself here. You got a laundry list of problems from the same system, but it just shows you that she has a whole system down. This is a system down. These aren't individual problems. That drives a medical doctor crazy. Well, you have a list of diseases. It's like, really? Yeah. All these are the same system down, guys. Same system down, just head to toe. That's not good when you see it head to toe. Starting out 50 years ago, you didn't see so much head to toe crap. Well, it's head to toe now. Tumors on the neck, you're in trouble. You need to get that fixed, and I ain't just joking. It's funny to see what medical doctors do when they cut out tumors on your neck. Not fun. So it's a lot more fun to eat raw and get yourself focused on yourself and get yourself turned around and headed toward Wellville than it is to go through the Hellville you're going through. Even if it does require self-discipline. Self-discipline. Everyone needs it. If you don't have self-discipline, how do you make it? Because you're the only self that there is. You can lose yourself in others. That's what happens with her and her father. She lost herself in her family unit. In other words, she wasn't herself. Herself was her family. Everything external to herself. Well, when that gets shut off, you're faced with yourself. Oh my God, it's me. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. It's me. It's just me. That's why you have to spend time alone. Get to know yourself. Oh, I'm okay. I don't need anybody else. Then you can love better. You can give others better love because you love yourself. You're not afraid of yourself because you're with yourself. And seeing yourself as a physical body is the wrong way to see yourself. You're using a physical body, but it's not yours. You're only borrowing it while you're here on this lovely rock. And it is a genetic one. Dear Dr. Morse, you are a godsend. So are you. I am so glad I found you. You make sense and have cleared a path for me to see what is going on with me medically. And that it is curable. Absolutely. There is nothing uncurable. I'll say this. You can get this lady, could get herself so bad that she could pass before she could fix herself. Getting brain tumors all over her necks, all through her body. You know, even though... one of our counselors just got rid of 9 tumors. Actually, a nice healing center in Costa Rica did. But that's what this is about. It shouldn't shock anybody that the body can get rid of what it created. And it created out of desperation because the chemistry you were consuming. To ignore the fact that chemistry is not impactful is laughable. Because you live and breathe and swim in it. You can't get away from it. Remember, these worlds are already created. There's no voids in the air. It's packed with chemistry. If you knew how much, you'd really feel claustrophobic. That's why I had to be careful. Woo! Let me see. I am 50 years old, and I have been in total pain from the time I wake up until the time I go to sleep for the past 24 years. Holy crap-a-doodle. Man, that's horrible. 24 years. Imagine living 24 years. Some of you are not even 24 years old yet. Imagine living your whole life in pain. Every day. Pain, 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 pain. I'd have shot myself by now, probably. I was in an auto accident involving a semi-truck on the highway in August of 1994. We walked out of it, but I had blocked out as my head hit and rear view mirror. In April of 1995, I started hearing voices which scared me to death. I take Abilify 400 milligrams, a suspension injection 1 time per month to handle the voices. Oh, really? See, the thing is, I probably wouldn't be taking any medicinos for handling voices. I'd get myself detoxed, go in and fix the trauma, which probably hasn't fixed itself. If you're in that much pain, you haven't ever fixed yourself properly. Go in and detox the body, get it hydrated properly, which will bring an alkalinity, a fluidity. It'll bring all the pain out of the tissues, remove any traumatized tissues, and you'll repair yourself. And if you have voices, then you might want to listen to them. I don't know. I remember a man one time, I was listening to him. I was in a Ford dealership up in Indiana. I don't know, I was looking at something. And he was telling the salesman he always hears music. And they've been trying to get rid of that for him because he didn't want to hear it. And I said, do you ever think to listen to it? Maybe it's a spiritual thing that you're involved in. I had severe depression. Well, where does that bring us? Parathyroid gland, right? Parathyroid gland, big time. Maybe a clue to why she didn't heal. Or this person didn't heal. I don't know whether it's a female or male. Ended up in the hospital. Since then, I had my gallbladder removed. Well, right there, the lymph system's backed up badly because he had to have the gallbladder removed in 2000. Since it was only functioning at 11%, fix it. Around '06, I had started having intestinal issues, no kidding. Well, gallbladder liver is a branch off the tree. The tree is the GI tract. So when the GI tract is backed up lymphatically, so is the liver, gallbladder, so is the pancreas, the spleen, all the little branches off of that tree. She had IBS, gastritis, ileitis, high LDL, cholesterol, 1,000. Well, so LDL, HDL is cell wall, phospholipids. LDL, however, is lymphatic. So when your LDL goes up, the one thing you can rest assured of is your adrenals are crashed, that you're not producing adequate steroids for the body to handle the level of acidosis you've created. So therefore the body has to turn to its main lipid that all your steroids are made from, cholesterol. And therefore then you start plaquing it because you're moving into an agglomerated acidic area. And look at LDL as anti-acid, anti-inflammatory, if you will. It's like the calcium buffering system. It's a buffering system. It's actually part of the sewer system of the body. So that tells you when you start plaquing it, your body's sewer system is backed up. That's all that is. So fix it, and it clears the house, cleans the house out. Arthritis right there tells you you're systemically acidic, because that arthritis is simply acidosis of the joints. Allergies, right there you go. Your body's lymphatic system's backed up. Peripheral neuropathies, there you go. You're highly acidic, losing your myelin sheath probably. All this prompted the doctors to prescribe lots of medicines. It would. Good money. Good money. Pharmaceuticals, cash cow, baby. Cash cow business. I was on 20 plus medicines at one time. I'll drink water to that. It's sad that that level of consciousness still exists here on this planet, guys. And it's you guys here to help the world to wake up, because they're snoozing pretty good. It's sad when this has to happen like this. And it all is a lack of understanding one simple system and one simple side of chemistry. Pretty scary, actually. I was on 20 plus medicinos. I felt horrible, so I asked the doctor I had if I could get off of any medicines, and he said no. Well, I was not satisfied with that. I weaned myself off of all but the muscle relaxer that I needed for cramps. You can try the parathyroid related. How does the cramping related to... I already gave you the answer. Dang! How's the cramping related to the depression? Parathyroid, guys. Parathyroid. Calcium utilization problems. So in acidosis, you're losing calcium, setting you up for spasticity and cramping, and you can't put it back because your parathyroid's down. Horrible cramps, 9/11 cramps. I am currently disabled and receive $958 per month to live on. That ain't a whole lot. After watching just a few of your videos, I switched to a fruit diet, thank God, some veggies, for 1 month and lost 28 pounds. I weigh 236 now. Ooh, I take it that's still a little on the heavy side. I felt, so that means the adrenals are down and probably the thyroid too. When you get too heavy, both of those are down. That's for sure. Your rate of metabolism is slow, which is your thyroid, which controls your rate of metabolism, your oxidative type of issues. Or your rate of metabolism, and then your adrenals are sugar metabolism. So I felt great, but had a health crisis and felt sick for a while. Duh. That's what everybody has to understand, is these health crises or healing crises. You're going to go through them. Where symptoms seem to be worse, a mucus coming out of the body, good. Dig in more. Don't stop. Understand this is well known and been established for hundreds of years that there is healing crisis during detoxification. Now that people are so acidic and so involved with mucus, they're harder than they've ever been. Well, okay. I felt sick for a while. I felt better. Right now, as of today, I have balance issues going on. I use a cane, so balance. Where's your equilibrium and balance from? Well, she's got all kinds of things going on. The neck, she got all kinds of things. Well, that was the other one, but still, you got all kinds of problems here. I have fallen 5 times, so this is the cerebellum. So if you don't have any tumors up here, use upper circulation, brain and nerve. Go after the GI tract, obviously, but you have gastritis and enteritis and this. So what part of the bowel is that? What part of the small and large colon is that? Gastritis, the stomach. So what part of the stomach is involved? Interstitial, the new organ of the medical find. The interstitium. The interstitial spaces of these tissues, whether it's the stomach, whether it's the small bowel, enteritis, whether it's gastritis, colitis, the colon. These are interstitial spaces. Well, what could be in the spaces around all the cells? Blood and lymph. And what's the dominant fluid? Blood? Nah, lymph. 75-80% of that fluid is lymph. Wow, big deal? Big deal. And how are you going to get relief of that unless you fix the lymphatic system? Well, no one understands it on this planet except we do. And thank God. So it was just a blessing that I was shown the kidneys and all of that. Now we understand it. Now it's time to go on and fix it. And people have to get with this. And once you do, your world turns around, doesn't it? Absolutely. And thousands of you now are testifying to that, which is kind of fun to see that. This planet has a nice up now. In the last 6 months. Well, that's only once a month. Now, just remember, this is your cerebellum here, and you want to watch it because now you're working your way into brain lesions, MS, Lou Gehrig's, Parkinson's, whatever they want to call it. So you have to fix this. Well, how do you fix these areas? Well, again, if I'm a cell in your cerebellum, how are you affecting my performance? Blood? Or is it my sewer system backed up? Blood doesn't break it down or death is imminent. Ischemic changes, meaning the blood isn't getting to that area, well, that's going to kill the cells there, stroke the cells. So that's not the problem. Inflammation is the problem. Swelling is the problem. What side of chemistry is those on? The acid side of chemistry. And what system does the acids deal with, or the body deals with? The lymphatic system, the lipid system, the gallbladder system. Gallbladder deals with lipids. That's a lymphatic system. It doesn't deal with digestion of carbohydrates and things. Let me see here. One time spraining my ankle and bruising both sides of toes. It's like my ankle failed to do what my brain said to. Well, you're losing neurological communication there. The swelling and all that's going on, and you're going to lose drop foot, get all of that. I have severe cramping where it feels like it's cramping my organs inside. You've got it. You need help here, you know. If you're trying to do this alone, you got to get on the detox kit, add parathyroid tinctures, but or glandulars. I would have a health coach here help you a little bit. At least put your feet on the path, or find one of the our YouTubers, our school graduates. These are detoxification specialists. They're all over the world now. Try to find one. Someday maybe we can put a list up of where they are. Some of them are turning into really fine healers. I've got housewives that are healing everybody with the kitchen sink. I mean, it's simplistic and easy to understand. And if you'll open yourself up to it, you'll get yourself well and your life will turn around 100%. Don't make things complex. That is the negative forces trying to lock you away from truth. But I'm telling you, your parathyroid is down. Where's that linked to? Depression. And what else did you say down here? Cramps. It scares me. It would scare me too, honey. I thought of a female. That's Lynn. I recently went to a new doctor. And he ordered blood tests. Whoopee. He wants to send me to a neurologist. Whoopee. I asked him what he thought I had. He replied, I don't want to scare you. Lovely. So that is where I am today. Well, you're moving toward Lou Gehrig's MS. I mean, face reality. I mean, this is medical terms, obviously. So you're moving toward a neurological. Neurological is not medical terms. That's A&P. That's common language. So you're moving towards a neurological condition, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse. If you don't do anything to fix this, how are you going to get better? And if you're doing the same practices that's causing it, how do you get better? You don't. You get worse and worse and worse. That is where I am today. I called your office and spoke with your staff about the iridology testing. They do not take my insurance. I was wondering if I might help me. Listen, we've got some good donations. You contact the clinic again. They'll set you up with Jennifer Willette. She will then look at your case and work with you here. But get it done now. I'm just saying. I have nowhere else to turn. We're here to help, guys. We're here to help. I've said that for how many years am I doing the YouTube? Okay, and a lot of you, we've helped a ton of you guys out there. And I am drinking it. You've got the Heal Tea. I'm drinking it. Great. Put yourself on a grape fast immediately. A grape diet. Love it. I am an abstract artist. There you go. You're creative. You don't want to, and of course you have adrenal weakness, of course. So, you got to fix all these things, sweetheart. You got to do it. Paints on canvas. I am sending you one of my best paintings. I hope you enjoy it. Dr. Morse, you are the best. I have prayed for you also. Sweetheart, you don't have to pray for me, love. I'm here as an agent, and I'm here with all the power to be. And I've got plenty of masters helping me, so we're here to help. Just telling you. Look to your inner dreams. You'll find us there, guys. I don't want to make this too long. I want to get this out so you guys can get this. So I'll do one more. And I'm looking at this is just a whole bunch of cancers, extreme cases. This apply. I don't care what you're involved in the chronic side. Number one, you've got to focus on your lymphatic system. Number one. Diet, number one with it. That is essential, or you're not going anywhere. All these cancers that they call cancers, all your cells are being damaged by acids. Acids are of the lymphatic system. These are metabolitic wastes. The bottom line is you're being burnt by your own metabolitic waste because your sewer systems are down. That's all it is. You can sit there and use the mind intellectually and try to come up with all kinds of things that will lead you back to the same problem, the same antidote. Every single time. How beautiful, how sweet. Don't believe me? Try it. Because you have nowhere else to go. Giving yourself a bunch of coffee enemas and stool implants and urine therapy takes you nowhere. Vegetable juices takes you nowhere. They might take you a little way down the road, but not far. All right, here's a bad one. There was one. It was interesting last night. I even cried because here's a man that wanted to speak to Donald Trump. He was I guess a Republican or whatever, but he just wanted to, and he's got cystic fibrosis. And of course, he's been told he's dying. And of course, anybody knows what cystic fibrosis is. Lungs, scars everywhere. What side of chemistry scars you? Okay, so his sister's a Democrat, but she put it out on the, Instagram and all this stuff. Well, Donald Trump called him. That was pretty cool. I cried over that one. I thought that was pretty cool. He needs to know that he can be pulled away from that. Cystic fibrosis is a tough one, brother, especially advanced cases. But I was looking at his body and it wasn't that bad. I've had it to where you're paper thin. So it's like, these people can be helped. We just have to get to them somehow. Same thing with cerebral palsy. And that's that little young man, 7 years old, on you see him on our YouTube channel, cerebral palsy. Look what we're doing with him. Or look what his mother's doing for him. Amazing stories. So no matter what you suffer with, it's always the side of chemistry that gets you, is always on the acid side. These aren't alkali problems. Not on the stretch of your imagination. You would have a seizure and pass out. These are not alkali problems, these are acid problems. And there's one system only that deals with it, and it ain't the blood. Acidify the blood, you're dead. You only have one system left. That's it. That's simple. So you want to hit, same thing applies, spinal bifida too. This was an interesting case. This is a lot of years ago though. Interesting, I had a spinal bifida case, female. She was born without L4 and L5. L4 and L5 are your kidney vertebrae. Interestingly, just saying. 2 years on raw and herbs, she has L4 and L5. That was 25 years ago probably. But that's pretty good, ain't it? So does the body regenerate? Hell yeah. Is there a blueprint of your body in a more perfect form? Hell yeah. Is it an energetic experience, a consciousness experience, as well as a chemical experience? Hell yeah. We're talking about the whole package here. This isn't just chemistry we're talking about. We're also talking about consciousness and electricity. We're talking about things that are far deeper than just mundane chemistry here. And I've had so many videos trying to get into that with you. Sounds a little out there, but you have to open to the fact that chemistry isn't the only science on the planet. Physics. Electromagnetic energy. And then what does quantum physics say about electromagnetic energy? It has intelligence. It's not me. That is quantum physics. I know some of you think that's the metaphysical side of physics. Okay. But what does the spiritual beings and masters say? All things are awake. All things have awareness. All things have consciousness. Science news, all animals have emotions. Well, let me take you one step further. All plants have emotions. Let's take it another step further. All minerals have emotions. Just saying. Just because man can't perceive at these levels doesn't mean they do not exist. It's like the frequencies of Venus and all the frequencies where there's other beings that you cannot see. Some of you can see them, some of you can see auras, and some can't. What's the difference? It's how you look. She is 52 years old, and her past health records include cancer in the bladder. Are we surprised here? A catheter bag, cancer in the breast, double mastectomy. Hoo-wee, are we surprised? Unable to swallow properly due to muscle weakness in esophagus. Peg bag. You know, she can get all this back here, with the throat in it. She wants to get moving on this big time. That's when you would use upper circuit brain and nerve, no question about this. There's a lot I would do in terms of, after you get down a while on these cases, you can actually move into the tonics. I haven't talked much about that. That would be the antlers, that would be the ginsengs, that would be the panaxes, that would be into the hotter herbs. That's when you really get into some heavy-duty regenerative tissues. I've used these on advanced quads. The higher level C3, C4s, quads with a tremendous effect. You first don't want to use them. To me, you first want to get into detoxification, getting these acids out, because you're also regenerating at the same time. But like the Ultimate Immune is a regenerative formula. And so that's why we don't use the Ultimate Immune right off. We use it down the road a little bit, like in cerebral palsies and stuff like this, spinal bifidas and all this. We get into the tonics. We don't do that right off. We want to get the body alkalized, hydrated. We want to get the swelling out of these tissues. Oh, wow, she's already had cancer of the bladder, right? So right there where the lymphatic system is, she's had her cancers. Well, it means her lymph system is backed up even in the kidney and bladders. Well, it always is. See, so you have to understand what's going on here. Get these fixed if they haven't removed the wrong lymph nodes, and you'll be able to pull this dear soul out of this. But this is more an advanced case. This one can use a practitioner assistance, that can give you some sense of strength and happiness that you can conquer this, because your body's just going to go take itself down to nowhere. Death of the body, not death of the beautiful being that's inhabiting it, though. Recently, she was rushed to the hospital with pneumonia and sepsis. So, what's sepsis? She's acidic head to toe. She has toxemia head to toe. Whatever word you want to use. head to toe. You don't open her up, she's going to die from this. Pneumonia, of course. So what's difficult is the more she gets closed off, she's got to expectorate. She's got to get this mucus out. She can't be closed off here. So it starts to put us into some more difficult scenarios, like needing suction machines and things like this. But you know what? To save a body, we can do it. Right, guys? Right, guys. So this is the one that needs some serious help here, right? As a very concerned brother, absolutely. She needs to view this video, dude. Needs to view this video. She can pull herself out of this. But it's going to be a little bit. It's not going to be snapping. She's out of this. You know, she's got to deal with all this. And how did she treat her cancers? See, she has a chemotherapy blowback that could be devastating too. So it's just how you treat things. Who does not trust allopathic medicine at all? Well, I love the brother. The brother's right on. Because they don't know how to fix anybody like this. What they do is take these people deeper into hell. They think they're helping. They make everybody in the world think they're helping you. Really? Not at all. They're taking her deeper into the world of hellville. They might be stabilizing her at points. Well, a good ER, a good emergency room, and a good ICU can help stabilize you if the dietitian wasn't so whacked out. And the medical doctor's whacked out on diet in these places. They could actually stabilize and help bringing these people out of these things. But no, dietitians come in and say, well, I got to give you protein. How about a barbecued beef sandwich with french fries in ICU? Nobody in ICU should be eating barbecued beef sandwiches and french fries. I don't care what you're in ICU for. Or critical care, any of those levels. As soon as you come in the ER, hydration should be the order of the day. I'm just saying. I love the brother here. I inquired as to whether my sister could be fed by way of the peg bed, organic green fruit juices to help improve her immune system, and maybe a water fast instead of the synthetic liquid. And that's the problem. She has been prescribed with by the consultant at the hospital. She needs to have juices put down, whether she's got a feeding tube or whatever type of tube. She needs to be fed juices, fresh squeezed fruit juices, not vegetable juices. No. She's got electrical problems. She's got lymphatic problems. Vegetable juices are not good for those. You want to build muscles? Go to the greens. We don't want to build muscle right now. We want the fruit juices, and we want the grape juices, the high electrical grape juices. The darker the better. High flavonoids, all the goodies. This lady needs it bad, el pronto. But remember, she's going to start detoxifying. Those lungs, she's full. Her lungs are full, so now she's going to start getting rid of mucus. She's probably on Ensure, Pedisure, some stupid crap like that. These people ought to be sued for lying to people, calling them some type of health drink. Are you kidding? All boasting because you have 20 grams of protein, just the very thing you don't want. I mean, this is some of the crap that's out there. And these companies are getting away with these little refrigerated, I'm Ensure, and here I'm hugging all the fruits and vegetables. Right. I mean, that's the idiocy of their thinking. And all these medicinos, look at these pharmaceutical commercials. You always see nature around, fruits and vegetables around, their ads and everything, outdoors in nature, to try to get you to feel there's some symbiotic relationship between their pharmaceutical drug crap and nature. Most of them are coal tar or petrochemicals, petroleum products, and that's part of nature, I agree, but a little further in the ground than we like to think about. I'm just saying. Horrible. Please, can you help? Absolutely. A video from you on this subject would be great because she is so trusting of the doctors of allopathic medicine. I wouldn't be. Have they pulled her out of this? And all these years, she should have been pulled out of this by now. We don't take years to pull people out of this. I'm going to give you some examples. We've had what's been prescribed as Lou Gehrig's, meaning an extreme neurological deterioration with brain lesions all over the place, cerebellum's down, wheelchair, modeling, no talking, no speaking, walking, talking, and singing in 5 to 6 months. So not saying that you can fix someone this bad in those months, but a year is going to take this person incredibly out of all these problems. 6 months will give this person a new life that you can't believe. But you can't if you don't understand why she's getting this way and feeding her things that's taking her deeper into this. I mean, it just will never happen. And so her trust will take her to death. You can't trust people that are not helping you. People that don't understand what's taking you down to Hellville. You can't trust these people. But keep trusting, sweetheart, and your brother's right. And does not believe me when I tell her there is a better way. There's a far better way. Miguel, love you, and you're right on. With that, I'm going to get this video to Jen B and get this up as soon as I can. Love you guys, and thanks. Sorry I get a little passionate about that, but when's enough is enough. It sure is enough in my world. Is it yours? I love you guys. Take care. I'm proud of each and every one of you. You pulled yourselves out of some of these deeper, darker holes. I'm totally amazed and proud of you. Love you, and keep awake on the inner. You might have some visitors.